Hello everyone, so we are going to be processing this wood thrush, which is a neotropical migrant bird that is the focal study species of this particular project. We are going to band, age, sex this bird, and also later on in a different video we will talk about how to deploy a geolocator, which we are going to be putting on some birds. So the wood thrush is really not easy to sex by its morphological features because of the fact that the male and the female both look the same from its outside plumage. The best way to sex these guys in their breeding grounds is to look for a brood patch. A brood patch is something that is a female bird will get during egg laying and chick stage, where she will have her belly skin gets filled with blood vessels and liquid, which will allow her to incubate the eggs more efficiently. So if this bird is a female, we will see a brood patch. If it's a male, we won't. So we'll just see muscle in that case. So you take the bird's legs, you put them on a scissor hold, and you pull them back and you blow on her belly. So as you can see here, this is a female bird. The feathers have kind of come off, and the skin is quite loose and edematous with liquid. So she's a female bird that has been brooding, and that's true because I know she's a female bird because I did see her fly off the nest and getting caught on the mist net. So that's great. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to actually age this bird. Now aging birds are also something that is not easy to do in the field, but if you have a bird in your hand, it's not difficult if you know what to look for. So in the wood thrush, what we will do is that we will open the wing, we'll spread the wing, and what we're going to look for is these feathers that are on top of the main flight feathers. So these are the primary feathers, the secondary feathers. The feathers on top are called the greater coverts. Okay, so these are greater primary coverts, these are greater secondary coverts. So the covert feathers in an adult bird will be the same color as the primary and the secondary feathers. So the color will be very uniform. And in a second year bird, these feathers, the covert feathers, might have a lot of spotting, like some white spots, or not really white, but they're like lightly colored brown spots, which this bird is not, this bird's lacking those spots. So I'm going to therefore conclude that this bird is an adult bird, or what we call an after second year bird. So this bird could be 3 or more years old, but we can't say beyond that because there's no other way to age it. So it's an adult bird. So we're going to write these details down. So she's a female bird. She's a ASY, or after second year bird. The next process that we're going to do is actually band this bird. So females in my project, I band them on their left leg. So this is a metal band that has a 5-digit number. So we're going to take it, actually I'll show you the band closely before. So this is the band, and it has a 5-digit number that is very unique to this band. These are banding pliers. As you can see, the pliers also have a gap in between, which we put the band on, and we open the band, and then we put the band actually this way, and it will fit nicely in between the holes like that. And then we put the band onto the bird, and you press hard, and obviously the bird's leg's not getting crushed because of the fact that there's a gap in between the pliers. So she's banded now with a metal band. Now we also do a very specific another banding combination, which we call color banding. These color bands are used to identify the bird in the field. If you see the bird again in the field, through a binocular pair, you can identify the combination of color. So we put 3 color bands and a metal band. So this bird's going to get a red color band on her left leg. So that means she will have a metal band and a color band combination. and her right leg will have 2 other color bands as well. So that's a green one and then a white one. So these are banding color band spoons. You can put them to like open them up. She's obviously not very happy right now. But so anyway, so we'll have to record that down. So the right leg will have light green over white. And then the left leg will have metal over red. Great. The next thing what we're going to do is we're going to sample her feathers. So she's going to be sampling, we're going to be sampling feathers for isotope analysis and stable isotopes. That will give us an indication of, so there will be an indication of finding out where she has been. But we get a very rough idea by analyzing the isotopes in the feathers, because the feathers gets molted over the years, twice a year. So, and that will indicate, and the feathers will have a signal based on nutrition, and the nutrition obviously comes from wherever it's hanging around and eating food. So there we go. So what we're going to do first is going to sample the feathers. I will be sampling a feather from, well, a couple of feathers from the wing and 1 feather from the tail. So we'll first take the feather from the tail. The tail feather that we'll be sampling will be the 6th, oh no, actually it's the 3rd rectice, the 3rd tail feather from either side. So this will be the 6th one, 5th one, 4th one, and then the 3rd one right here. So I just kind of give a quick pull, it comes off. Doesn't really hurt the bird, it's like pulling a hair. So there's an initial, you know, little sting, but afterwards it's not. So I'm going to put that in here. Then I'm going to take a piece of her first primary feather. First primary feather. And the primary feathers are numbered from inside out. So the outermost feather, the very first one, is this little feather, which is called the alula. So that number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I'll take a piece of that, and then that will go inside the envelope as well. Then we're going to take the 6th secondary feather, will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is 6. Now that's interesting because I just like clipped the feather and it obviously went to the ground, but that's okay. I'll take another piece. This time I'll try to be a little careful. Good. There we go. That's that. And then the next feather that I'm going to sample is a little bit more complicated, because of the fact that that feather is really small and you don't always get a good chance of figuring out which one it is. So this is what we call the tertiary feathers, or the tertials, and you have to sample the 3rd one. So I mean, you can do this by slowly going through. So that's the first one right there. This is 1, 2, and this is 3. So I'll pull that one out, and then put that in the envelope. Great, so the feathers are done, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do some more measurements on her. So what we're going to take first is her wing cord. The wing cord is like from the shoulder to the longest feather, and male birds have a longer wing cord and female birds have a shorter wing cord. This one has 105 millimeters, 105, which is great because males tend to be over 110 and females tend to be lesser. But this is, you know, this obviously can sometimes be different based on individual birds, but for the most part it's statistically significant. The next one, what we're going to do is take her tarsus length. The tarsus length is from the ankle joint in a bird to its palm. Now, interesting enough, birds have different like leg morphology than a mammal. So this is its ankle bone and that's the palm. So we are going to take it straight from middle of each. It's 28.13. That's great. And the next one we are going to do is the bill length. Actually, I'm going to take the tarsus length again because I feel like there might have been an error with my vernier calipers. I know. The faster we get this done, yeah, I knew that. So there we go. It's about 30.38 actually. Okay, so the bill length, we take it from the nostril to the tip of the bill. That's about 14.03. The next one is the bill width. Nope. So it's 5.93, which is about right. Great. So, and then we're going to take a fat score. Now birds tend to store fat when they're flying south, and they will store their fat right in this location, what we call the furculum. And you will usually see yellowish fat, but as you can see there's nothing yellow in there, which makes sense because she has no reason to store fat at this point. So we give a fat score of 0. Then we're going to take the weight of the bird. The way we can take the weight of the bird is put the bird in a bird bag and then just measure the bag itself and then subtract the length. You can subtract there's all these. So I'm actually going to do this bag inside out because of the fact that there's all this stuff that's going on. Okay, so you tie a knot, and then you take a scale, a Newton scale, and you will. So she is with the bag about 74 grams. And the bag's weight I think is 23. And I'll subtract that after, at the very end. So everything's done. She's ready to go back to her chicks at the end of the day. Now, there we go. So she will go off. Great. So I hope you guys learned something, but that's the end of the story for us. And we will later, in another video, we'll take a look at how to deploy a geolocator. Great.